I love mountains. They are very fascinating. How many of you love mountains? Maybe everybody, Mountains are very good. You go up and see the whole nature, that inspires our heart. I was in Temple climbing up the mountain one day. We have a Ladies Bluff hiking trail which goes up to the high mountain on the Mississippi River. I was there walking. I have gone many a time. One time I was there up on the mountain and there was Michael, not the archangel Michael, but there was a man, Michael. He was also joined me walking up to the high mountain. While we were there up, I was asking him, where are you from? Because we are speaking to one another, dialoguing. I asked, where are you from? He said, I'm right from Trempealeau. And I said, your name is Michael. It's a good name. So why don't you come to church? He said, I don't come to church. And then I asked him, do you believe in God? I asked him. And his expression is a little different. He looked at the nature and stretched his hands out and said, this is my God. And he said, the nature is my God. Perhaps everybody in the same way many a time. We look at the nature and we wonder at it and we believe that God made it, and sometimes we believe the nature is God. But it's a creation by the hand of God. We admire them. So mountains are inspiring. And that's what today also we see in the readings. The first reading, even God calls Elijah to the mountain. Go up to the high mount. I'm going to pass by you. And Elijah going up on the mountain waiting for the Lord. It's an awe-spelled experience, because he's going to feel the presence of God. But there is a heavy wind. Elijah feels God is not there. And there's an earthquake. And he feels, no, there is no God. I don't feel it. And there is fire. Fires are very strong. In Canada, the trees got fire, the forest got fire. We could see the effect in Eau Claire because it's so cloudy, smoky, and we could feel that. So sometimes the fire is so powerful, but even in those powerfulness, Elijah did not feel the presence of God. But where did he feel? As for the readings, he felt the presence of God in the tiny whispering of the voice. In small voice, he felt the presence of God. And that's what the liturgy is calling us. God is powerful. God is almighty. He can do anything. But that beautiful, powerful God reveals himself in small, possible, tiny ways. He's not a God to show that he is very powerful. He's not the God to show that I can threaten you. Perhaps he can do it. Old Testament, we have so many stories of God threatening people by fire, by flood. We have those stories, but God now comes to us in a tiny, small, possible way. If you want to know that God, we need to go into our heart. And that's the point. The tiny whispering sound. If you want to hear, you have to go deep into your heart. Not you have to go outside and seek the Lord. There is so much of noise outside. There is so much of problems for outside. There is so much going on outside in the world. If you concentrate on outside, you cannot feel the presence of God. That's what the gospel today. Jesus praying up on the mountain again. And he comes down, walking on the water. And Peter asks, if you are Jesus, let me walk on the water. And Jesus says, come on. And Peter, with all confidence, because the confidence is there deep within your heart. With that, he stepped on to the water. But what happens after 2 or 3 steps? I do not know how many steps he took on the water. But the external thing, the waves, the wind, that frightened him. Immediately he forgot about Jesus. He forgot about the tiny little faith in his heart, but instead those outside things frightened him. Therefore, he was sinking into the water. And that's what happens in our personal life too. We allow outside things to disturb us. We make outside things so big that block entirely our faith and to see what God wants from our life. We concentrate or we give more importance to our problems, our noises of the society. But God says, I am in a tiny whispering sound. I am present in you in a small way possible. That's what we see on the altar. Now, God is so powerful and big, but those powerful God comes to us in a little tiny bread. That's a promise of Jesus Christ. I am the bread of life. The bread that I give you is my flesh. He promised, he comes to us in every mass in a small, tiny way. So what Jesus says to Peter, why did you doubt, oh you of little faith? Why don't you have a little faith in your heart? That's what Jesus asked Peter. So, God wants from us a very small little faith. That little faith, very strong in Jesus Christ. If we have, truly we will be blessed. Even those, we have those wind, earthquake, fire, so powerful outside the world, we don't fear. But if you don't have that little tiny whispering sound or little tiny faith within your heart, then we will fear for everything. So how is your life? How are we? Let us have that tiny little faith. Let us be strong in our life.